สื่อลือสาอยู่ในอาซีสาวลาวผู้พันไมตรีรวมสามัคคีฮักโฮมกันหักษาหักประเทศเฮาหักแก้วบ่เก็บเกษาอุ้มหักวงศาสนาแต่ผู้รันมาหักษาดินแดนบ่ให้สะใดมาล้วนหาวีรกลยัดแยงสิ่งเอาไปอื่นเก่ามาลุ้นวายสู้จนตัวตายต้านทานศัตรูสวยเสิร์ฟสู้เลือดเนื้อเสื้อเผาเพื่อนผู้กูเอาบรรเทาทุกข์กายYou may now be seated. Thọ nê rồi trở tàu lưu sĩ hở nó. Ê cú thọ cha tờ mình chỉ bù rồi nê hay để bây giờ bi lưu program lưu sĩ hở ta chỉ nó mù ta chỉ ít bì hay giờ bé cho speaker là hay lưu nó chỉ thọ nê sau một tê vì đồ khó lưu nó giờ ít lưu ở bé cho cái tu share here giờ ít cho cái chỉ học bên tu celebrate lưu nó. So ladies and gentlemen, at this time I would like to give this opportunity or time for the honor guard to perform and just make a little announcement that because today it's a very sad day for Vang Pao family, for Mrs. Vang Pao family. So once the speaker give a speech, we would like that you not applaud for today. So this time I'd like to give to the honor guard.
Fire Team Commander! Fire Group 1 volley! Team, present, on! Team, order, on!
If you come this way, please. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's next to block. Yeah. Chin back.
我从到了这个地方呢，所能接受都是还多的了，多是多。努脑要一努我都些那个鸟着的呢，老ในคนว่าพอเลยMrs. General Vang Pao ที่ดูเจนึงไอ้พี่น้องเชื่อให้เงินนู่นนี่จะให้ตัวได้ตัวเจตัวเลยตัวเจอได้เฉยตัวไอ้เนี่ยมันรู้เชื่อตัวกงที่ตัวรู้มองเลยเนี่ยเลยเนี่ยลองในคนว่าพอเรานู่นไอ้กูยังเท่ว่าเมื่อคือเราเจรู้กูเราได้เรานู่นจะรู้เอาไปรู้ตัวได้จะรู้ว่าไปจะเนี่ยกูเรารู้เจไอ้กูทอวันนี้เชื่อจะเอาเนี่ยชิตาลี的事ทอกันนี่เชื่อตัวคนไอ้เนี่ยเขาจะไปรู้เรื่องเนี่ยที่ชิตาลี的事กันนี่คงได้เราไปเราว่าอีสังเกตลิเกใจแต่เลยไปมองพอเลยอย่างอีสิ่งบทเรียนSo, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this time to thank you for everyone's, all our dignitaries and VIP, and everyone from near and far. At this time, we are gathering today and gathering together in this building is to mourn the loss of the monk's mother, or Mrs. General Vang Pao. And at this time, I'd like to take this opportunity to start our program, and I'd like all of you again to remind you that because this is a very sad day, after each of our speakers give their speech, that I'd like all of you to not applaud today. Before I officially start the program, we'd like to start with a song. So now let's our band start our very special song. OK， 陆续很多，那你自己的人家是早路在了，我们要比好 program 咯，我就很多路มันเด็ก选择นะ我要路อีกที่ดูมาที่ในกูจะเพื่อนๆดูนะเนาะกู要เจอล้อเลยเราหายเอาไปเราดูเช้าเย็น要一度推จอเลย一度 share เลย一度เราจูเนี่ยล้อในคนว่าบอกเลยMrs. General Vang Pao ลูกเจสันเกลาเลยmemorial service นู่นเนาะนั่นเองกูท้อเจอโกมาดันเนี่ยลงว่า So the next person I'd like to invite to stage to say a few words on behalf of the planning committees and the family. He is the chair of Mrs. May Song Wang, is the chair of the memorial service committee. So please.
วันที่จะให้ลูกน้องกูยินดีที่เราคุยกับชิตากูต้องเจอกูคณะกรรมการที่ปรึกษาที่วางแผนจะเราได้ช่วยเราลูกน้องไม่เพื่อต่อใจไม่จะกุศลจ่ายไปหน่อยจะช่วยเราอยู่เราจะรับพันเนี่ยเราชิตาเราไม่ถูกเราว่า被出来因有些更高，也是被和被用些也被掌控出来，因路年天气了，到路上也天气在在大了，被各种些路上人那被只要着急了，被在到一种经济价值了，人那不要都钱，但是也为人不用我知道，我们被把地呢被出来掉到，我到在到一种。là trồng chữ tôi đến tôi sẽ rồi là trồng chữ hậu trồng rồi là trồng chữ hậu city là hậu về state là thành ra cho official elected cho nó elected official để đi đâu mà cũng có giải tỏa cho là cho chữ lúc nào cho là sẽ khi lúc chưa hở tôi đến tôi sẽ tỏa tôi sẽ biết để lúc nào rồi một cả cho là cái này trồng tôi chỉ tao là gì tôi cả bỏ nhẹ là ta tao công tao mong là ta một lúc ăn lúc trẻ rồi hai bên hai người không nhớ tao tiền ở bên một cái xin lúc khi học sinh ở bên chỗ nhà y hải mông ở rồi sai tao bên ở bên ô tô trong hiện đây là ở bên những cái chỗ này trong ở bên ô tô họ tiêu chí đông là ở rồi hai bên mông chỉ hay tổ chức để nên năm là cũng là sơ chế là chỉ là con chế nhanh tổ tăng na rồi lúc ở là sẽ rồi là đầu tiên là nó sẽ chỉ là con em nhỏ đó sẽ nên có một trong lòng cái thì bây giờ là thằng na bây giờ một đầu nhà tư họ các thứ là đây cái có cứ mùa có thể gì cho là ở cả khu bê họ phải biết một đầu trong đó là của bê chứ để còn lại rồi nhẹ chứ thì thân là còn chế này để biết cho là của hậu lực rồi biết hay thành công của đầu tàu thì nó các bạn là là để cho nên là cú cho đồ là tại tòa thì nên là program thì cái gì chỗ tàu là hay thì chỉ hay chỉ tàu là hay phê cho là hay là cú gọi cho lại cho tại là cho cái kia trả cái này như thế nó làm cái một tờ lại nó không cái trở kia cả là cái tôi chỉ tàu là lúc nào cái bỏ cái tôi trong một cái trả của nó trong cơn cầu để còn là cho lại tôi tặng ra để thành ra đây như thế nên là lúc nào là cái lúc thay đổi lại nó đồng nghề xong rồi ở đây là cái bỏ cái ổn định sau ở nơi mình cái này là cái sai cái vô nặng là cả đi bỏ cái gì để cả đi là các nhân trong cái gì đó vô thay đổi lại vấn đề là ở nơi mình về sang sen là mình sẽ là thầu lúc là thầu tư là gì ở một cái hở là đối với nhà công nhà mong ở niệm là chế không chế mong rồi bên trong mong sẽ là số lần số tổ chức số lúc thế sở bên số lúc là số lúc khâu kỳ vậy là mà bên thọ mô hình là sự của chỗ đó
những cái tiếng cha sẽ tu chuẩn gì tận đây là mù yuav mua lúc hở là chờ rồi lừa lọc rồi stage này do nhiệt lo này phun hoa bỏ lời do bên lên nhiệt từ tu bây giờ từ tu sao bây giờ chờ được lọ người mua lũ cho bà phía hay sao người lên nhiệt thế chúng ta đi được sư đầu bây giờ. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next person I'd like to invite to the stage is the youngest son of Mrs. General Vang Pao. And at this time, I'd like to give this time to Vang.
Một ngày sắp là họ đều một cái tiêu lộ lo của trên này nó có sản xuất nào thế ceremony, so it will consume a little bit of time, so please do be patient.
On behalf of the family of General Vang Pao, We would like to thank you, all of you, for coming today to pay respect to our mom. We are a family have elected our younger brother, Niam Ntxhoo, to represent the family today. Thank you.
Ở do đã cho nó hiệu quả, ở do cho công hộ, chỉ hay lúc lo, chỉ hay lúc mẹ, ở do nên cho nhiều quá gì, cho nhiều ta nhiều gì, cho nên cho啥, cho cứ cho đi cho không cho nhiều cho làm cho được. Lúc đó, cái sự là qua một lúc tuổi trẻ nó. Chạy cho nhau đi, chạy cho nhau dễ, chạy cho nhau sổ cốt cho ai sai để vào vị trí. Lúc đó, cái gì nằm mong. Ở ngoài tù nằm rộng, ít tù nằm chậm chăng, ở cái gì nằm mong. Ở trả cái gì, ở dài, luôn để đi làm mù. Cụ cho cái lò lo tàu trả chạy của cứng giờ hậu chính năng của the tôn dân là của nền hay của gì lò hải ở cái lò lù chơi kia là chế năng nu nó hay đâu ít chủng này cái năng trả sẽ là hay tiệp cái chế năng nhân do nên sáng đủ nên đủ chia đồng chỉ nên cho cái lúc nên cho cái cho cái nhẹ cái gì cái chuyện này một chỉ ta chỉ tờ nên là ba chú ba nhẹ ba chia ba đây chân chủ đầu bê nhẹ cái sẽ có pin của nó有我不弄到那呢，这种也是冇干了，问题是的州，然后都只落干呢，问题是的州，也好么了，弄了，北京也达到了，问题是的州，了要你这些东西，目前但是个，也厉害，要路弄了，这个被这些适合，以后么的呢，是敏感多，来多的个啦，也估要了还有这里呢。hay đúng không? Thì đó sau đây nó thì là các kỳ cái chuyện nên chúng moi lúc xí hở giá trong đủ cái chuyện tàu ta không mấy lúc chạy là hay chỗ này nó gì giờ gì mong tôi còn mong trong đủ ta gì nữa để để cho đúng không thì cũng là sau đây nó tạo ra nên sẽ làการทอởวันนี้châu nó to hay tiền nó cái bộ lưng nhẹ tôi cho cái chuyện này tôi lưu tôi sai để bây giờ do này tôi sẽ tụi chi một chỉ ta chỉ cơ nữa qua sau nữa hello and good morning. First of all, I'd like to extend a warm greeting and welcome to all of our dignitaries who are here today, which would make up our elected officials from the city, state, and federal government levels. Also want to extend a warm welcome to all of the Hmong American community leaders who are gathered here today from across the nation, and to everyone else as well. As you know, my mother is a mother figure to all the Hmong American people. She was highly regarded as not only a leader, but a symbol or an idol to many who knew her. And for many of us who knew her, we know the kind, beautiful, and gracious lady she was. But on a personal level, she was a mother, and a wife and a grandmother. And she committed her love and her care and her time not only to her family, but to people from all different walks of life. Ever since she was a little girl, growing up in a small Southeast Asian village in the country of Laos, where at that time it was very difficult for Hmong women to even get an education because the traditional favoritism of sons over daughters going to school was still heavily implemented. But my mother, at a very young age, defied her parents' wishes and those of the elders, and she found a way to pursue that education. And so she went to school. She left the farm, and she started on her educational career. And in 1966, she was admitted into a nursing program at the Samtong Hospital, which Dr. J. Hamilton's here, which was founded by an American Patio. And she entered that nursing program and eventually got a career. And in 1971 to 72, she went to the Laotian capital of Vientiane to finish her nursing program, where she became a registered nurse. And she graduated from the Sisavanwong Medical School in 1971. And she became a registered nurse. But her roles were multiple, because at that time, there was an ongoing war, and the wounded were coming from the battlefield, and the innocent men and women caught up in the battle were being brought to the many different hospitals throughout the nation. And yes, they were not close. They were flown in by helicopters, they were transported by vehicles. Sometimes it would take hours, if not days, just to reach the hospital. Her work became tremendous along with her colleagues. And we have a few colleagues here who are her best friends, who know her work, who know her generosity, for they all went through the same thing. On the peaceful front, my mother, every time she got a paycheck, she would only save a small portion for herself and send the rest back home to her family to have and to spend. And with fate and destiny in 1973, she came across a young Hmong general by the name of General Vang Pao. And they met and they married. And thus her life changed again. And yes, her parents would never believe that this would ever happen to their daughter. And ever since marrying my father, she has stood by his side until his very last breath, until he passed away. And during the time she stood by his side, they went from city to city, met many different groups of people. We, the sons, have gone privilege and chance to travel with them to meet the people. I, at the age of 6, traveled with my father throughout the entire country, getting this privilege and opportunity to meet the Hmong American and other groups in the community. And they devoted their time and they sacrificed themselves for their people until their very last breath. But with this legacy that they left behind, they built so many friendships with so many different groups in so many different communities and in so many different countries. And this is a friendship that even though my mother is no longer here today, that she has left the footprints behind for us as the sons and the family to continue. For the Hmong American to continue the vision of General Vang Pao. And what is that vision? What is General Vang Pao's vision? It is to be a good and productive citizen, a law-abiding citizen. He calls for unity and respect, and above all, love and support each other, regardless of disagreements or differences. And we will continue to echo his vision, and we will continue to work hard with not just the community at large, with not just the Hmong American community, but with our elected officials. We want to establish this line of communication today that we are here and we are ready to work with you on all issues regarding this community and in regarding our great nation. And so in closing, I thank you all for your time and for being here today. And your presence here, as you can tell by the large crowd that are present here today, they are here to not only mourn, but to celebrate the life of Mother May Song Wang, Mrs. General Vang Pao. We will always be indebted to all of you for all that you have given us, for all that you have shown us. We are not sure how we are able to repay each and every single one of you, but we commit ourselves and our service to you whenever you do call upon us. You can rest assured that we will answer that call. So in doing so, I thank you all again very much for being here and sharing this moment with us. It's a moment that we will cherish and keep in our hearts and minds forever. Thank you very much.
Tiếp tục hoa chư sinh ở đây là vui chờ là hải áo bên là lũ đỏ dài. Cho nên sự kiện chào thì cho hoa chư sinh tuổi đây tuổi trẻ tuổi nhỏ bên tuổi thơ cho là tuổi mayor nhà đó hồ Lu City nhà đó Lu Fresno City. So next I'd like to invite the mayor of city of Fresno to say welcome and greetings and say a few words to our dignitaries and folks who tonight today to mourn Mrs. Vang Pao, please.
Good morning. On behalf of the residents of the city of Fresno, I welcome you to the celebration of the life of the mother of a nation, the mother of the Hmong community, Mrs. Vang Pao. Judging by the number of people who are here today to pay their respects, it is clear that she has touched the lives of so many people from so many different places around the world. She's earned respect here and throughout the country for her selfless dedication and commitment to working side by side with General Vang Pao to improve the lives of the members of the Hmong community. Mrs. Vang Pao was accomplished in her own right, a nurse, a loving mother, a role model. And after General Vang Pao's death, she became the face of the Hmong community, a leader at a critical time in its history. She continued to fight for the issues that meant so much to her and to General Vang Pao, coming to the Fresno region once or twice a month over the last 20 years, and also traveling often to other parts of the country to support the Hmong community. She was a driving force behind the creation of the General Vang Pao Foundation in Fresno to help provide important services and resources to the Hmong who are working so hard to succeed in our country. And she has long advocated for Hmong women, carrying a particularly important message about the importance of living a healthy lifestyle. My fondest memory of Mrs. Vang Pao involves her real passion, education. I remember, as I'm sure many of you do, seeing her at the dedication of the Vang Pao Elementary School in Southeast Fresno in September of last year. that was a particularly special day for her and for all of us. Not just because it's the only public school in the world that is named after her husband, but also because she understood that education is what will unlock the key to the future for the young Hmong students. In fact, her motto was, "Education is the key to success." There was no one more proud that day and more passionate about the school and the hope that it holds for its students than Mrs. Vang Pao. As we all gathered to celebrate the fruits of her labors, I remember seeing a woman of great grace and dignity, an extraordinary woman who was thrilled to honor the extraordinary accomplishment of opening the school. And even though she was fighting cancer at the time, you would never know it. She was determined to talk to the students about the importance of education. Most of all that day, I remember her big smile. Many of you may have seen her picture on the front of the Fresno Beat on that day. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. It was a smile that lit up the room. A smile that has inspired countless people throughout her life. Thank you for coming to Fresno to honor Mrs. Vang Pao. Our city's thoughts are with you, the Hmong community, and the many people's lives that Mrs. Vang Pao have touched. God bless you.
或许现在电脑古也这个还要为了路古就年老的คนเราบอกให้ยังMrs. General Pao นู่นน่ะอย่าอีดูถ้าอีจ่อเฉยเย่เนี่ยเราเขา district ของเราอย่าง Congressman Jim Costa. The next speaker I'd like to invite to the stage to say a few words for Mrs. General Pao today. I'd like to invite Congressman Jim Costa from 16th District of California, please.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members, General Vang Pao's family, Hmong American citizens throughout the United States, those of you that are here this morning and those that are watching through television across the country. It's my honor to be here as a friend of Madam Vang Pao and General Vang Pao to honor and to pay respect. General Vang Pao was our friend, he was our mentor, he was a leader, and he was a hero to the Hmong community and to those who followed him after 1975 when President Ford signed the executive order to allow those of you and your families who stood with the United States during the Vietnam conflict to have an opportunity to come to the United States to begin anew. Like immigrants past and immigrants present, the Hmong community have added great richness, energy, and vitality to our valley and to our country. General Vang Pao kept this enormous spirit alive. When we mourn his passing and loss a few years ago, Madam Vang Pao kept the torch alive for all of us because it was her spirit, her understanding of the great difficulty and challenges the Hmong community lived through during the conflict of the 1960s and 70s. And those who left in the mid-70s with not much more, those of you and your families with the clothes on your back, come here to a new world. Madam Vang Pao understood that to be successful in your new country, you have to be united. You have to be together. You have to focus on educating, especially the new generation. And that was her lifelong dream. A dream that she inspired in all of us and in the Hmong community and families. So this morning, and during the morning of her life, we celebrate a life well lived. We thank her. We thank her family for all that she has done. Each and every one of us can make a difference. Vang Pao believed that each and every one of us can make a difference because she made a difference and she inspired us. After her husband passed away, to keep the flame alive. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to fight to recognize the leadership of General Vang Pao, as his wife did, to recognize those soldiers, some 7,000 that are still alive here, to have the appropriate recognition as both the general and his wife wanted to do. We continue to do so because we are motivated by the life she lived so well. Let me read to you in closing a resolution honoring the life of Vang Pao that we presented in the House of Representatives on her behalf. This is Madam Vang Pao was an inspiration in helping refugees settle in their new American home. She inspired many young men and women, especially the women, to strive for greatness and brought the young Hmong community together under her respectful and benevolent leadership. Mrs. General Vang Pao will always remain an inspiration for those both in America and those in your distant homes in Southeast Asia and the Hmong communities. After the passing of General Vang Pao in January of 2011, a ceremony that many of us were attending of, Mrs. General Vang Pao inspired in all of us to remain strong, unified, and keep the spirit of the Hmong community alive. She helped the community receive from the loss of their own. In 2012, she founded the General Vang Pao Foundation in Fresno, which continues to help and provide support to disadvantaged Hmong families. Mr. Speaker, it is with great respect that I ask my colleagues in the House of Representatives to pay tribute to the life of Madam Vang Pao. She will always be remembered as an influential member of the very importance of the contributions that the Hmong community makes in America as citizens of this great country of ours. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless each and every one of us. God bless the family of Madam Vang Pao. And I would like to present this resolution to her son.
Lúc trước thì là thế là một cái gì đó sẽ cúi ở hùng gỡ lò, nhỏ mua ót hùng gỡ thì cái lò hay đủ ok đó là, vậy thì nó lúc trước thì là thế nó nhỏ cúi ở chờ là nó số nó nhỏ. Senator Leej and Yi, nhà đầu 8, State Senate District Yi, cái gì đó là nhỏ. Senator Andy Vidak, nhà đầu State Senate District Cawv. So the next two speakers, I'd like to invite them together to the stage. The first one is Senator Leej and Yi from the 8th State Senate District and Senator Andy Vidak from the 16th State Senate District. Please.
Thank you for allowing me to share words of condolences from the California State Senate. But before I speak, I want to let my younger colleague, my younger brother now, Senator Vidak, to say a couple words.
It was with the most profound sorrow and deep sense of loss that we received words of the passing of a beloved California resident and Hmong leader, Vang, matriarch of the Vang family and the widow of the late General Vang Pao. This great lady was a devoted, loving wife, mother, and grandmother, and a dear friend to many. She will be sorely missed by the Hmong community, a community that is an immensely important contribution to the state of California and our nation. I am honored to be among so many of the esteemed dignitaries and to be part of this important ceremony to honor the mother of your community. Thank you for the privilege to express my deepest condolences to you all.
The very last quote for like a 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Andy. I have served the California State Legislature for over a decade. When I was in the Assembly, I was the Select Committee Chair of the Committee on Asian Affairs. And when I moved over to the Senate, I continue in that capacity. I have spent many, many hours and many days traveling up and down this particular 99 corridor of the Central Valley. There are tremendous challenges within this particular area. One of the reasons why I am so much an admirer of Vang Pao is the fact that she cares about every single one of you here. She cares about the children, she cares about the sick, she cares about the old. And what she has instilled in me and to all of you is the responsibility of taking care of those individuals in need of help. And so her passing is a tremendous loss to not only to you, but to the state of California. Because who will now watch over every one of you? And so with the passing of Mrs. Vang Pao, the torch has now been passed. And the question is who will pick up that torch? And the real answer is all of you. Every single one of you. Because her vision and her heart was so great, her work was so immense, that all of us need to take on that responsibility. And maybe with all of us working together, that will somehow measure to the greatness of Mrs. Vang Pao. So I, along with Senator Vidak and all of our colleagues in the California State Senate, adjourned the last session in her honor. We carry from Sacramento a memorial resolution to the family, to the community, to express the Senate's sorrow of her and our loss, your loss, all of our loss, and hopefully these honors will help with all of our pain and all of our difficulties in the coming weeks, days, months, and years. But while we do all that, we have to remember her vision. This was someone who was really a nobody, who became a healthcare professional, who then came on to the world stage and said to the people of the world, watch over my children and watch over my people. Thank you.
杜顺子的那我也叫老多，还给了卢布的被也手录下片了，也杜推叫梦的是还杜推叫我正经也老被 community ที่ยอดเราได้เชิญในการแล้วที่杜推叫我也叫了老หรือยอด city council president ลงช่อง我也要好 city Fresno. So the next guest speaker I'd like to invite to our stage is a very important leader to our community and the Hmong community as well as the city of Fresno. I'd like to invite council president Long Xiong from city of Fresno, please.
你好，你从哪几个电影上？我那个要哈的山，我要去和叫我的朋友去我和 OK council member Saib council member Paul Capriolio， 还有这边从哪几，主要哪个关系个电影上，也同那个嘛都真，都是不是适合的民主的没事上的看看。Before I begin, I would also like to make sure that I have my council colleagues here to say a couple of words to the community, but also to the family of the general and our mother as well. So with that, I want to make sure I have a council member Saib and then a council member Paul Capriolio for their condolences.
Good morning, Najong. First and foremost, I'd like to express my condolences to the family of Madam Maison and also to the community. One of the things that I want to share with you is that we've heard a lot of the great things that Madam Maison has accomplished, but on a personal level, I just want to tell you that the times that I did share with her and speaking with her and talking about different things, she always made you feel welcome. She always exuded this quiet strength about her, and you felt comfortable. You knew you were in the presence of somebody very, very special, and that's how she made you feel, was comfortable. And one of her proudest moments, of course, was at the dedication of the General Vang Pao School. And it was there that I had the opportunity to also speak with her even more so, and knowing what education meant to her and what an impact this school was going to have, not only in the community, but she was proud that it was the first school in the United States named after the general, and she was a big part of that. One of the other things too, in saying that she made you always feel welcome, was that I attended an event one time and she gave me this little pin. And she said, Sal, I know that in your council district there's a lot of our Hmong community in there. This makes you an official Hmong now. So that was the type of quiet presence and strength that she had, and we're really going to miss her. But one of the things that the last thing I want to share with you is that I really believe that you said the correct word, that this is a celebration. It's a celebration of her life. And I don't really feel that this is the time to feel sad and be mourning, but to smile and think about having had the opportunity to know her, to visit with her and understand what quiet strength she brought to our community. So thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a sorrowful occasion, but a happy occasion as well, because we're celebrating the life of a very, very important person. When I met her, she was more than a person. Once you started talking to her, you had that feeling of warmth and leadership that she exuded. And I felt that maternal feeling from me to her. And I've respected that every time I think about her. She's just an inspiration for all of us. In that same vein, I'm prepared, as well as my other council members, to pick up that torch, as the senators have indicated, and take that and go forward with it on behalf of the Hmong community, across the country as well as in our city. So it is a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for allowing us to speak, and our condolences to the family. We thank you. Again, thanks.
To my brothers, John, Hlob, Francois, Hlob, Hlob, Niam Ntxhoo, Eugene. Nhớ trong số linh sự tư, bây giờ cho nó cho ổ, để tôi thấy tôi sẽ có sát hại tại tôi chỉ biết sự tấn nó, tôi chỉ là tôi sát, bây giờ tôi lúc sẽ mà biết sự tấn, tôi cái gì, để cho biết chuyện, tin là đàn con, biết dùng từ số linh sự tư để tôi tao nó, để tôi chỉ tao cho sai thì để nhớ thế. biết sự thật tôn chủ mình yêu dấu mình nào to hợp to lưu và mình sai là biết sự thật mong sai là mình mong sai biết sai là người quan nhà biết nào都行vấn đề ý kiến này nếu một tao biết sao muốn拿gì sao thầu cho biết sự thật bao giờ biết bao khó khăn biết不biết hay này mong biết muốn拿gì cho biết tôi đi chờ nó cho biết tôi lúc đi chờ mà mình bao lúc biết sự thật bao khó khăn biết sự thật bây giờ mình tự mình nhiều bắt đầu luôn cái trong nó cho nếu một lần đầu nhà hai cho bên nào này muốn gì cho cô ấy ăn我还找那个国道包和国道部，这错路时候，国道军呢，那一马路上还这故事，路线让路线被到新开，大家被蒙路那个店，也蒙了讲，后来呢也不觉得那叫我这都这都是，我都不被，我现在蒙小蒙饭蒙汤蒙喝，我还在被蒙死。Meaning no, the bit of young Mulu, Congressman Costa, just State Senator Leej, State Senator Andy Violate, but what has to be in the other months, you can know your hollow memo. The Ben have it see the Georgia Bay, Bill to job, no memo, but they are the Bemoya, Bemoya Lejan. When I work at Chandal and so on. I'll go from Gomotion Bay. Como là buổi sáng là các phòng có một trò chơi cho nó cho bộ có bê bao nó cho bộ có bê bao luôn bây giờ thế này có bê bao khờ bên nào cái gì đó luôn điều gì đây bây giờ lòng mình mua chỉ là mình khai đồ bây giờ ở bây giờ bên nào cái gì rồi cái gì bán hoặc cái gì giá là gì hoặc cái gì khai một thằng này tôi chọn đó cho đỡ mà nhớ lòng bây giờ bắt thành bây giờ sốt là chỉ bây giờ rượu hiện tại bây giờ ôn tiền là dùng cho cái sốt là đại số有情况话旅游包到每个时候那时候没说的叫可能还没说的包从来走路有路来路的条山两面也叫可以走没说的叫
Ok, giờ đi non, để chính thức cho sự lợi cho khu chủ tịch là tên là Cawv hai của người cả này, Cawv là cho sở chế là chế nên theo planning committee, cho nó là bé hay mong Cawv là hay bé là người cho lời lúc tiết lúc chỉ theo lúc sẽ hỏi của lời tua, tất cả nhà lo này còn vào bỏ theo chế nên lúc nọ cho lời nọ. So, ladies and gentlemen, next I'd like to take this time to recognize the dignitaries that are here today, and even though you don't, we don't have enough time for you to speak, we do recognize and very, appreciate that you are here today to support this important and the saddest day for the Mrs. Vang Pao and her family. And the very first person I'd like to recognize on my list, and according to my number, the first person I'd like to recognize is Mayor Pro Tempore Noah Lore of Merced. The next I'd like to recognize is Fresno Big Fairground. Thank you very much for all the boards and Fresno Fairground who allowed us the opportunity to and to help us out. And the next one I'd like to recognize is Board Trustee Eric Tang at the State Center Community College. The very next person I'd like to recognize is Board Trustee Christopher De La Cerda of Fresno Unified School District. The next Board Trustee I'd like to recognize is former Dr. Tony Vang, also here, so thank you, sir. The next person I'd like to recognize is Board Trustee Luis Chavez of Fresno Unified School District. Thank you. Next person is Board Trustee Carol Mills of Fresno Unified School District. Also, thank you. Board Trustee, the next person is Board Trustee Cawv Johnson of Fresno Unified School District. The next on my list is Assistant Superintendent Misty Hurd of Fresno Unified School District. Thank you, Misty. The next person on my list is Miss Joanne Krumberger, Director of the Veterans Affairs of Fresno. Thank you. Next person on my list is Julie Crusader, a Public Information Officer for California Department of Veterans Affairs of Fresno. Thank you, ma'am. The next person on my list is former Council Member Steve Rapada of City of Redley, I believe. Thank you. The next person on my list is Principal Teresa Calderon, which is principal at Vang Pao Elementary School, Unified School District. Thank you, ma'am. And not on my list is thank you to everybody, all of the other distinguished guests and dignitaries are here today that I do not have your name. And we do appreciate your time that you're being here today. Even though I don't announce your name, please know in your heart that we are very appreciative you are here today. And今天的假是我哋會冇可能地啦，會討會做到比較推咗比較水嘅，你有 community leader 有共學嘅，就錯到你上多路咯，你就係嘅俾住戶你路地啦係路到上咯，水嘅到上咯係路啦，討會你上到做啲樣種係嘅，特別可能คนว่าbỏ嘅，ในคนว่าbỏเจนึง就到俾係นึงมง我哋會做你ที่種先係我路落你就ตัวป้า路就มงเลยเนี่ย我要เนี่ยล้อพระยานราประมง General Vang Pao.
Ladies and gentlemen, this ends our first traditional and greetings session for all our VIP, and you all are our VIP for this first morning of the first day of our celebration of our mother's life experience for this century right here. I'd like to take this time to recognize those people who have spent so much time and then help us to make it a beautiful morning for our beloved mother. The first one is the United States Military Joint Services honor, and without them, things may have been different from here. And since part of our musics that go with the ceremony, I'd like to take this time to acknowledge and then say thank you to the band Sound of Freedom Military Concert Band that has been so great on our right hand side right here. And then thank you. And Hmong way, and we say in Hmong, and just want to say one word, we can never pay you back what you have done for all of us this morning. Next on the line, and I'd like to say the last ceremony from our beloved mother, my Wang, Mrs. Tanya Norababong, General Vang Pao, and especially my committee, planning committee. There are 19 of us. I cannot remember all of your names, but taking this time to acknowledge all of your time and then the service and the effort and the love that you have for the family of our late beloved father, General Vang Pao. Thank you.